Hi everyone, another ball glove video today talking about shaping. I think a lot of people get shaping and break-in of a glove confused. They're two very different things. Break-in is really you're focusing on specific breakpoints and specific areas of the glove that you want to close and open, as well as breaking in the leather. That is very different than shaping. Shaping is once you've started accomplishing the break-in and you've gotten the leather to soften up a little bit, you've gotten the break points to soften up a little bit, what you have to do then is create the proper shaping depending on what you like as the player and what your preferences are, but also in relation to the position that you're playing and just overall general shaping practices that you should do with a baseball or a softball glove. So let me show you some examples of what I mean by that. The fingers and the thumb, generally you see people bend the fingers. Now through the center of the glove, if you're going to bend the fingers, maybe the index finger and part of the middle finger are okay to do that. But you don't want to bend in your fingers on the sides. You don't want to bend in the pinky, ring finger, and in my opinion, try to avoid bending in the middle finger as well. If you want to bring in the center of the glove to get this flat, I think that is a great practice, not only for outfield but also for infield. The idea behind that is that when you open the glove, as an outfielder, what you're doing is you're keeping a nice flat top to this glove. You know that every time you open that glove, you're going from pinky or thumb to pinky, and you have a flat area to get to that ball with. If you have areas in the glove where this index finger is up and your finger and your thumb are out, now you have areas where you kind of get a little bit of a dome through here, and it's not consistent on what you're trying to do as an outfielder. You want to know that even without looking, you know that from pinky to thumb, that's the distance that you have to work with catching that ball. With an infielder, obviously any ball through the air, that's going to be the same idea, but as an infielder, you're trying to get this even flatter, not only this direction, but you want the glove to be flat this way too. So you can see here the way this glove is shaped is that your thumb and your pinky are very wide and very open, and it's very flat through the center. That's good for infield and outfield. Pinky and the thumb need to be as straight as possible. The reason for that is you want maximum expansion. You want this glove to open as wide as it possibly can for an infielder or an outfielder. You're trying to maximize the surface area you can get to the ball. So you want these as straight as possible through the thumb and through the pinky. Now, the recent craze of the whole flare over the last 5, 6, maybe even a few years longer, I understand the flare, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You want the pinky to remain straight all the way up until this point where it has a natural flare, where it is pulling the ring finger and very slight parts of the middle finger with it. You don't want just the pinky to flare. You want the entire glove to shape with that flare. So if you notice, you'll see how it comes up, it flares slightly, it brings the ring finger with it slightly, and very slightly part of the middle finger. By creating that flare, the glove creates a funnel to the outside, bringing that ball in. Whether, again, it's an infielder or an outfielder, you want to be able to have complete confidence that your glove, knowing where that pinky is, which is your basically your point of knowing where the end of that glove is, where the maximum reach you have, you want all of that working in unison and everything molded and shaped with the way that flare is. If you get an extreme flare where the whole thing is flared out like this, you're actually making things a little bit worse. And the reason why is now you've created this flare where it's a very extreme curve that's here. You're actually closing off this section of the glove. You're actually making this part of the glove more closed off by bending that in. You want as straight as possible until you get up to about this point. And again, this applies to infielder or outfielder. You don't want to really create your flare until you get up into about the last little bit of the pinky, right through here is what you're focused on. As far as the thumb goes, you want it as straight as you can get it. If you want a little bit of flare at the top where it kind of opens up the top of the pocket up here, that's fine. That makes sense. It also does add a little bit of some width to the full expansion of getting this glove open. So I definitely think getting a little bit of flare to the thumb is a good thing, but generally you want this as straight as possible. What you're trying to do, infielder or outfielder again, you're not supposed to rely on the thumb to close the glove. You want the glove to close to the thumb, like this. You want to be able to just close the fingers and it goes to the thumb. The thumb does not generally need to be going to the fingers. If you do that, you'll create this hitch. And I've talked about it in some other videos. You do not want to be stretching out this section of the thumb. You don't want to be pulling any of this leather towards the pocket. You want this as flat as possible. So when you are shaping this glove and you've created your break-in, you are focused on shaping this fingers to the thumb, not thumb to the fingers. The other thing you're focused on trying to do is you're trying to get curvature of this pocket. Now naturally this will, for the most part, happen during break-in, depending on if you're baseball or softball and the size of the pocket you're shooting for. You're going to get that curvature that comes through here. That should be fairly natural, but if you're noticing that your pocket is breaking in and all of it is coming through the pocket and there's no curvature to this finger, there's something wrong. You're not shaping it correctly. You're not finding that the correct pocket. If you notice here, you'll see the pocket extends into the fingers, so that when you have a softball, for example, that softball will sit in that section of the fingers because it has become part of the total pocket. You want all of that to work in unison. So if you notice, you'll see this curve slowly taper off from the index finger into the other fingers and then slowly taper off to a nice straight edge the closer you get to the pinky. That, in my opinion, is the best way to shape your glove and shape that pocket in relation to the break-in that you've created for that glove. On the shell of the glove, the break-in that you've created for this is going to really show in what I call kind of wrinkle areas, or areas that you've as you've broken in the glove, it'll kind of show you what you've done to it, and where you've it's almost like on the palm of your hand, it's almost like the lines in your hand. That's where your hand flexes. That's where your hand naturally comes together. It's the same thing with the leather. As you shape this glove and you conform it to your taste and your particular hand and your position and everything that you like, you're going to notice these areas on the shell that form. What I mean by that, if you look through the thumb here, you'll see these wrinkles that I'm talking about. This is from the thumb bending this direction and then back the other direction during play, during break-in, during the shaping process. All of those things will start to give this glove the specific characteristics that only this glove will have based on the way that you've broken it in and the way that you've shaped it. So not only the thumb, you'll notice it through the back of the shell, through the fingers. You'll notice all of these areas, just like the palm of your hand. They're very specific to that, and they're unique to this glove, just like your hand or your fingerprint. It's the same type of a thing. So as you're shaping your glove, notice those things. Watch for that natural shaping or these lines in the glove that really help give you a good idea if you're shaping the glove the right way. You'll notice that everything seems natural with these lines. As these lines form, everything remains natural with the way the glove is open or closed or wrapped around a ball. So you want to pay attention to that stuff too. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look for more to come, and I thank everyone for watching.